January 1st, 2026. Just hours after New Year's Eve celebrations ended, troubling news began emerging from two separate parts of Europe. What should have been a night of joy and fresh beginnings quickly shifted into scenes of chaos, emergency response, and loss. Within a short span of time, celebrations were replaced by sirens, evacuations, and urgent assessments of damage and casualties. One of the most devastating incidents unfolded in Crans-Montana, a well-known tourist destination nestled in the Swiss Alps. In the early hours of the new year, at approximately 1:30 a.m., a powerful explosion ripped through a crowded bar located in the canton of Valais. The blast occurred at the peak of New Year celebrations, when the venue was filled with people welcoming the start of 2026. The explosion immediately triggered a large and fast-spreading fire, turning the scene into one of panic and devastation. Authorities reported that more than 100 people were inside the bar at the time of the incident. According to official statements, at least 10 people lost their lives, while nearly 100 others suffered injuries ranging from burns to trauma caused by the blast. International observers have expressed concern that the number of fatalities could rise as rescue efforts continue and the full scope of the damage becomes clearer. Emergency services responded on an extraordinary scale. 10 medical helicopters and more than 40 ambulances were dispatched to the area, racing against time to transport the injured to nearby hospitals. Swiss authorities quickly declared a special emergency situation to coordinate the response. Law enforcement officials moved swiftly to secure the area and prevent further danger. While Swiss police stressed that there were no indications of terrorism linked to the explosion, the seriousness of the incident prompted strong precautionary measures. A temporary flight restriction was placed over Crans-Montana, and access to the surrounding area was tightly controlled. Investigators launched a comprehensive inquiry to determine the exact cause of the explosion and fire. For residents, tourists, and emergency workers alike, the event marked a tragic beginning to the new year, leaving the community in shock and mourning. What began as a moment meant for celebration instead became a powerful reminder of how quickly tragedy can strike, even in places known for peace, beauty, and winter festivities. That same night, in another part of Europe, a second emergency unfolded, this time in Amsterdam, the capital of the Netherlands. Just minutes into the new year, flames rising from the historic Vondelkerk near Vondelkerk put the entire city on high alert. At approximately 12:45 a.m. on January 1st, emergency services began receiving calls from residents who noticed thick, dark smoke billowing into the night sky from the direction of the church. What initially appeared to be a small and manageable fire rapidly escalated, growing out of control within minutes. When fire crews arrived at the scene, they immediately understood the seriousness of the situation. The church's wooden framework, part of a structure dating back to the 19th century, was highly flammable and allowed the fire to spread at an alarming speed. Flames raced through the interior, making containment extremely difficult. By 1:24 a.m., authorities issued a Grip 2 alert, signaling a major emergency requiring an expanded and coordinated response. Built in 1872 by renowned architect P.J.H. Kuipers, the Vondelkerk is one of Amsterdam's nationally protected monuments, making the fire not just a local emergency but a cultural loss of national significance. As the hours passed, the blaze completely engulfed the historic building. Intense heat weakened the structure, particularly the tower and bell tower, which began to lose stability. Firefighters focused on preventing the flames from spreading to nearby buildings, knowing that saving the church itself was becoming increasingly unlikely. At around 2:30 a.m., officials confirmed the worst. The historic tower collapsed inward, crashing into the center of the church. The collapse triggered further structural failures, causing parts of the central section to cave in and large portions of the roof to fall away. The interior suffered extensive and irreversible damage. For historians and residents alike, the scene was hauntingly familiar. More than a century earlier, in 1904, a devastating fire had also led to the collapse of the church's tower. The striking similarity between the two events made the tragedy even more unsettling. By the time the fire was brought under control, one of Amsterdam's treasured landmarks had been left severely damaged, marking a heartbreaking start to the new year and reminding the world how fragile even the most enduring symbols of history can be. As the fire continued to burn out of control, it began threatening not just the church itself, but the entire surrounding neighborhood. Strong winds carried sparks and burning debris from the centuries-old wooden structure, raining embers onto nearby streets and buildings. Recognizing the growing danger, the Amsterdam Safety Region issued an urgent NL alert, warning residents to close all doors and windows immediately and to leave areas filled with heavy smoke. Officials stressed that air quality had deteriorated rapidly, creating serious health risks for anyone nearby. The city's mayor later confirmed that the collapsed sections of the building posed a significant threat to public safety. As a precaution, authorities ordered the evacuation of multiple residential buildings along Vondelkerk and in nearby areas. Approximately 90 households were relocated to a designated activity center in a safer part of the city. To support emergency operations, electricity was shut off in several streets surrounding the site, allowing firefighters to work under safer conditions. All roads leading to the church were closed, turning the area into a restricted emergency zone as crews focused on containing the fire and preventing further damage. Beyond the immediate danger, the fire represents a profound loss for Amsterdam. It is not only the destruction of a historic structure, but the disappearance of an important piece of the city's cultural identity. Opened in 1872, the Vondelkerk Church originally served as a Roman Catholic place of worship until 1977. In the decades that followed, it evolved into a dynamic, multi-purpose space, hosting offices, cultural gatherings, and art events. For generations, the building played a role in the social and creative life of the city, connecting people across time and tradition. Now, that once vibrant space stands silent, marked by damage and uncertainty. Authorities have announced that a thorough investigation will be carried out to determine the cause of the fire and to assess the future of the building. For many in Amsterdam, the loss is deeply personal, closing a chapter in the city's history at the very beginning of a new year. At this stage, the scale of the destruction is so severe that restoring the historic structure to its original condition appears highly unlikely. Large portions of the building have been lost, and experts say any future plans will depend on extensive structural and safety assessments. Meanwhile, the exact cause of the fire remains under careful investigation. Authorities have urged the public to avoid speculation until official findings are released. Still, discussions continue, particularly around the possible role of fireworks, which were widely used across the city during New Year's Eve celebrations. It is important to stress that these claims have not been confirmed and remain purely speculative at this time. Officials from the Regional Safety Authority acknowledged that large crowds and widespread road closures created challenges for emergency responders during the incident. Despite these obstacles, they emphasized one critical point of relief. No deaths or injuries were reported as a result of the fire. When looking at the events in both countries side by side, a clear pattern emerges. Periods of intense public movement, such as New Year's Eve, can cause risks to escalate rapidly. In these moments, even a single spark or an uncontrolled explosion can trigger far-reaching consequences within minutes. Together, these incidents serve as a sobering reminder of how quickly celebration can turn into crisis, and how vital preparedness, coordination, and public awareness are during large-scale events. The total loss of a historic landmark in Amsterdam, combined with the tragic loss of life and injuries in Switzerland, has reignited serious questions about whether safety measures during major celebrations are truly sufficient. Experts now argue that risk assessments must be more thorough, especially during temporary events like New Year's celebrations, and particularly in historic buildings and popular entertainment districts that draw large crowds and tourists. In the wake of these two devastating incidents, we extend our deepest condolences to the communities affected. Our thoughts are with the people of Amsterdam, who are mourning the loss of a treasured piece of their cultural heritage, and with everyone impacted by the explosion in the Crans-Montana region of Switzerland. We also express our sincere sympathy to the families who lost loved ones and to those who were injured. The damage caused by events like these goes far beyond the moment they occur. Physical injuries, emotional trauma, and the loss of irreplaceable history create a long and often painful recovery process for individuals and communities alike. We also want to recognize the extraordinary efforts of firefighters, medical teams, security forces, and search and rescue crews who worked under extremely challenging conditions. Their dedication and professionalism play a critical role in saving lives and helping communities begin the road to recovery. On this channel, our goal is to present events in their full context. We focus on understanding each incident from start to finish, clearly explaining how it began, how authorities responded on the ground, and what decisions were made in the aftermath. By doing so, we aim to provide accurate, structured, and meaningful coverage that helps viewers better understand the world around them. If you liked the analysis in this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please share this video with your friends, family members, and relatives. And finally, if you found this report helpful, please hit the like button. This helps us beat the algorithm and ensures this truth reaches more people who need to hear it. Thank you for watching.